truth, freedom, and health. And that campaign basically said, look, freedom, which is the First Amendment, Second Amendment, fighting for the opportunity for all of us to interact and debate, is the essence of applying the scientific method, which means you can get to truth. And from truth, we can identify real problems and real solutions for our health. And strong people, strong infrastructure gives us the ability to fight for freedom. That message, Wendy, hit everywhere. We ended up having nearly 3,000 volunteers on the ground, 10,000 lawn signs, 20,000 bumper stickers. We were everywhere. You could not come to Massachusetts. Everyone knew Dr. Shiva. On September 1st, remember, we were running in the Republican primary.
Yeah.
And people have to understand, Massachusetts is a uniparty state. The Massachusetts GOP is a filthy organization, okay? They collude with the Democrats. And when I ran, they found some guy who had no one even knew him, had no lawn signs, no bumper stickers, no organization. And what ends up happening was, up until September 1st night, which was a primary, I ran, and our entire team ran an amazing campaign. And the word out on everywhere we went to every state, every city, was landslide, okay?
Right.
Landslide. And a couple of my friends, who, some people call conspiracy theorists, said the only way you're going to lose is if there's election fraud. And, I'm not I have a sense of awareness, but I said, that only occurs in third world countries, right? So what ends up happening is on September 1st, the results start coming in, Wendy. In Franklin County, where the votes are 80 to 90% hand counted, we win by 10 points. In every other county, it was 60-40, 60-40, 60-40, 60-40, 60-40. Here's a guy who's in the old boy network. He wins 60-40 in Lawrence, which is all Hispanic, or 60-40 in Brockton, primarily blacks, right? He's a guy from Man for All Seasons. And I said, there's no way this guy won. No way. And at our, party on September 1st, there was no concession speech. My concession speech was that, we live in third world Massachusetts. And I'm frankly glad that the founders put in the Second Amendment, right? It gives us an opportunity to exercise our rights. Starting from that day on until September 9th began my engineering systems approach to understand voting systems. By September 9th, I found out that in the counties where they use electronic voting machines, there's a very interesting process, Wendy. The paper ballots are not counted by humans, right? They're scanned. It creates a ballot image. So everyone should understand that creates an image, a photograph. That ballot image is then analyzed and tabulated, not by a human being, but by the computer, okay? Right? And that's one piece I found out, ballot images are the ballots. The other thing I found out was that starting in 2002, and you can read it in the Diebold Voting Manual of 2002, page 2.
Oh, I've seen it. Absolutely. I've seen it.
Yeah, it clearly states that they have a weighted race feature. Think about this, which means if you get 1,000 votes, I get 1,000 votes, my votes can be multiplied by 0.5, yours by 2, you get 2,000. I look like, wow, what the hell happened? I just lost by a landslide. I lost to the other guy by a landslide, And by the way, these cheaters are very clever, right? So when I put 2 and 2 together, I went to the Secretary of State and I demanded the ballot images. I said, I want the ballot images because by federal law, you're supposed to save them for 22 months and it's public record.
Let me guess, they vanished.
Well, not only did they vanish, it gets more interesting. So by the way, you have to understand, this is 2020. I've been on Twitter for 9 years, never been thrown off. And I've talked about what others would consider quote unquote crazy stuff, right? Stop forced vaccination, attacking Fauci, attacking the fake Indian Elizabeth Warren. Twitter never threw me off. But on September 25th, 26th, I have an email exchange with the Secretary of State where the Secretary of State tells me, we don't have to save ballot images. They're prohibited by Massachusetts law. And I said, please tell me what law. She writes back, never answers a question, say, we save the paper, but we don't store ballot images. They're not captured. Very clever lawyerese, okay? Turns out when the machines are shipped, ballot images, the default setting is to save them, and you have to purposely turn them off. We had gone to the Secretary of State's office, and the guy behind the counter says, we don't have those ballot images. We turned that feature off. So those 4 email interactions I had with her, I post on Twitter. She's a public official. I said, Massachusetts deleted ballot images in violation of 52 USC 2071. Bam. I'm thrown off Twitter. And so I no swamp lawyer in Massachusetts wanted to take this case on because we're going at a very fundamental issue of democracy. I had to represent myself. I'm not a lawyer in federal court against 3 other lawyers. It was me against 3 other lawyers. And my lawsuit said I want a $1.2 billion. We had to put a big number because of the damages. But more importantly, I said, I want the judge to tell the Secretary of State, because we had found out they had contacted Twitter. And everyone listening, you have to understand. Yes. So this is what happened. A newspaper article, which was a hit job on me in a bogus fact-checking organization called Lead Stories, said Dr. Shiva is lying. Ballot images were not destroyed. I mean, ballots were not destroyed, which, by the way, I said ballot images. And they said, we contacted the Secretary of State, and they told us that they had told Twitter to shut down Dr. Shiva. That's when I knew I had a First Amendment lawsuit. Yes, this is America.
So you've got your Secretary of State in Massachusetts actively trying to censor you, shut you down, going to Twitter and saying, hey, friends of mine in big tech, help me out.
Not only that, it gets more interesting. So so here's the first victory we got. Remember, judges do not like to give hearings on restraining orders because it shows if you get that hearing, you're going to win the whole lawsuit. He gave us a hearing. We went into the hearing, and 4-hour hearing. It's supposed to be a 1-hour hearing. You know what comes out in testimony? The social media director in testimony says, yes, I was told to contact Twitter. And he goes, what did you expect? The judge said, I expected them to turn off. We hoped that they would turn off Dr. Shiva. And he goes, why? He goes, we have a trusted Twitter partnership. Listen to what I'm saying. They're not like all ordinary citizens. The government has a trusted Twitter partnership. That came out in testimony. Then it came out, the judge reamed the state election director, a woman called Michelle Tassinari. And every time I mention her name, I get thrown off Twitter, by the way. So when I mentioned her name for the first time on September 25th, 26th, I was thrown off. So he told her, he goes, maybe I'm old school. I believe in the First Amendment. Why didn't you simply go on Twitter if you disagreed with him? And she was quite arrogant. And she also admitted that she had contacted a woman called Amy Cohen, who is the executive director of the National Association of State Election Directors. And they have a super duper partnership with Twitter. Why? And they had contacted Twitter. Why? Because I was exposing the fundamental fact that ballot images, which are the actual evidence of voting, were being destroyed. Okay? And all of the states are doing this more than likely. And remember, the state election directors are the ones who certify the voting machines, which means they've certified them to have the weighted race feature, and they certify them to turn the feature to off. Okay, when the federal election law, the 52 USC 207-1 clearly states for federal elections you have to save them. So that's what happened, Wendy, there. And the judge gave me a second victory, or gave all of us, and he ordered the Secretary of State to stop contacting Twitter until the general election ended, told the National Association of State Election Directors to stop contacting, and he said, if you have a problem with Dr. Shiva, you go tweet it, don't go calling them. Now, everything, so after that lawsuit, I got back on Twitter, I was 21 days off in the middle of my general elections. Starting on November 5th, I'm back on Twitter. On February 1st, I did a movie with Mike Lindell, and I was talking about.
I thought it was great. I thought your proof was great.
Yeah, I was explaining in my February 1st video, hey, look, everyone was asking what happened to the lawsuit. I said, this is what's going on. And Michelle Tassinari, and I again shared those 4 emails. Bam, I'm thrown off again permanently. So out of the 19,744 tweets I've done since 2011, there's only been 2 times I get thrown off Twitter. The first time on September 26th when I mentioned Tassinari, and then the next time on February 1st. So we went back and filed another hearing in emergency hearing court. That's the most recent news. The second part is we actually have a major second lawsuit where we've asked for decertification of the entire U.S. Senate race and a hand recount of the Republican ballots. And,
Amen.
And they filed a nearly 200-page lawsuit, an opposition to say, we want a motion to dismiss. Guess what? The judge, third victory, denied their motion to dismiss.
Nice.
Okay?
Nice. So where are you going from here?
We got to fight. There is no country, there is no democracy.
Wait a minute. You're not allowed to say fight, sir. That makes you an extremist. You're an insurrectionist.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay. Well, I guess I'm an insurrectionist now. Thank you.
Amen.
I take it. Okay. So yeah, we should be insurrectionists if we don't have fair elections in this country, because there is no democracy. And I'm telling you, we have selections. We do not have elections. And by the way, it's Republican and Democrat. The Massachusetts GOP, if they're listening, they're one of the most scummiest organizations on the planet. Because they colluded to make sure they found a fool. And they work with all what I call the not so obvious establishment in Massachusetts. People like Howie Carr, people like Jeff Cooner. They talk a good game, but they manipulate the white working class. No different than Al Sharpton manipulates black people. So on the left and the right, we have scumbags. Sorry, it's a technical term. And
no, I agree. And I love this. I put your name in Wikipedia and it comes back. An Indian-American engineer, politician, entrepreneur, and promoter of conspiracy theories. Congratulations, Dr. Shiva. You've made it.
Well, and a pseudoscientist. So I publish in Nature, the #1 impact journal in the world, the #1. And by the way, if you look at it, they found an Indian guy to call me a pseudoscientist. You see what I'm saying? These elites are very, very powerful. But what I want to share with everyone is you've got to stop with the left-right, Republican, Democrat dialectic. All this stuff is a way that we do WWF wrestling. We have to build a bottoms-up movement, and people should go to vashiva.com, Wendy. What we're doing at vashiva.com, victoryamericashiva.com, is we have to build a platform, and that's what we're building. It involves education. We're training people on political physics. Second, we are building our own communication tools. I'm a tech guy. So we're offering people the equivalent of Facebook. We're offering people a forum underground. So we build a bottoms-up movement. We're educating what we call truth, freedom, health warriors. So you got it. There's not going to be any change unless people say, oh, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm this, I'm that. That's what they want. We got to.
I'm an American. I'm an American.
Yeah, I'm an American, and I understand. Look, you can't build a bridge without understanding Newton's laws. You can't build an airplane without Bernoulli's principles. You cannot build a movement that is going to challenge and really return truth, freedom, and health without, there is a political physics. And in 3 hours, every Monday evenings, I teach people systems thinking. It's basically you get a 2 to 4 year MIT education in 1 hour. And then the next 2 hours, I teach you 3 principles: the intersection of truth, freedom, and health, why we need to build a bottoms-up movement, but most importantly, why we have to recognize the not so obvious establishment. It's not. I
agree. So vashiva.com. I love what you're doing, sir. And I love that you've come on here and that you're fighting, because I'm on your side. I'm a conservative here, but I'm an American, and you're right. We need to get away from those monikers. Thank you for joining me. Can I have you back sometime?
Yeah, anytime. Be well.
I love it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Take good care.
Keep going, John.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Bye.
I mean, it's scary what happens, guys.
So that's a Wendy Bell radio show. The reason I did that is John is making sure I do regular videos. You know, it's very difficult for me to get regular doing these videos. But what I want to let everyone know is that I keep pounding this away. We have to stop this left-right Republican Democrat stuff. They're both scumbags. I'm not saying Republican and the individual, lowercase r, lowercase d. I'm talking about the Republican establishment, the Democrat establishment. And we have to, in fact, stop moving away from pro-Trump, anti-Trump, okay? All these divisions don't matter. What ultimately matters is that you start recognizing that you must become a force for change. And the only way to do that is through a bottoms-up education. So that's why, people have said, Shiva, we want to help you. We want to help you. Well, the way you can help me is by helping yourself to get educated. So you got to go to vashiva.com/join and become a truth, freedom, and health warrior. Our goal is to have 50,000 people politically educated. I mean, we want to make sure you have, sabers where you can be politically incisive, that you can challenge anyone, but you can always go to the heart of truth by using a systems approach. If you don't take a systems approach, you will get caught into the left and the right, Republican and Democrat. You'll be waving this flag one day, another flag the other day, and at the end of the day, you're going to get screwed, because the working people's wages in the United States, which if you're a median working guy and you should be making, and you're making $50,000, guess what? You should actually be making $120,000. The wages since 1971 have actually declined. For the 5%, they've grown exponentially. But for you while you play Republican and Democrat left and right, you're being screwed. And you need to understand the only way out of it is through a bottoms-up movement where we start changing things in our local community. When you go to VA, should I show them, John, or no?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So again, let me just share this with you. So all of you, please take time to go to vashiva.com. Let me show you where that is. As I was just sharing with Wendy, if you go to vashiva.com, let me share the screen here, and you will see what we're putting together here is a complete environment. It's an environment for education, communication, as well as if you go to vashiva.com/join. Today, I'm not going to do the video today, right? We don't need to. Okay. But if you go here to vashiva.com, join, you can literally see what the program is. You can contribute. We're building infrastructure. We're building our own data center, which we already have. We're beefing it up. You can become a warrior to support the community. You can learn some basic stuff, or you can just be a member. It's no cost, but it depends on what your education commitment is. And when you go to the dashboard, when you log in, you get access to some very, very powerful tools. One of the tools is we're putting up these premium videos to educate people where we use the technology I created at MIT to understand how different ingredients support your immune system. And you can learn the science of it so you can go into the world confidently. The other thing is we have a forum. John here is the administrator with another team of, so we have literally a forum where you can go into this forum and you can actually start having interaction. So you can see it's quite active. People are out there talking about vitamin D, right? And you can be part of this. This is independent of big tech. This is in our data center. No one's going to throw us off here. The other piece that's important to understand is that we have a whole area that we've built now for the, better or equivalent than Facebook, where you can now build community of people. Here's John's page. There's different groups here. There's a warrior group. There's a leaders group. There's a members group. But you can start joining here and start meeting other people in these groups. We just launched it a few days ago. So please take advantage of that. We have the tool, Your Body, Your System, where you can start actually using the principles of systems to understand how your body is a system. You take a quick quiz. It figures out your body type. It figures out where you're off on your system type. And I'll share more of this with you, but it's a very powerful tool. Let me go right here. If you want to just go to Your Body, Your System, which is a site, this took me about 20 years to build, but you can literally answer a set of questions. We use general systems theory and the understanding of Eastern and Western medicine to calculate your body type. Then you can calculate how off you are from where you're supposed to be. And the system actually helps you understand how foods, different supplements, exercise, yoga can bring you back to you. Okay. So that's another very powerful capability we have. We also have, when you sign up as a warrior, you get access to all the courses. Okay. I used to sell this, I think, for like some ridiculous amount of money for like $2,500 when I was doing this post MIT. But it's a very powerful area because you can actually get access to different courses. You have access to what's called a warrior course. You can understand the connections of these systems things also to your body as a health system. So you get access to fundamentals of systems theory, how your body is a system, et cetera. And you can actually take an exam and get certified as a truth, freedom, and health warrior. So that's what we're doing. We're not sitting around, whining. We want to build our own ecosystem of truth, freedom, and health warriors. We actually are going to use the technologies I built to help go directly after big pharma. So that's why it's important we start building a movement. I think this today I'm going to give later on this afternoon. I think I'm going to be on Steve Bannon's show again, right? But I'm going to be doing a talk really on messenger RNA and the mRNA vaccine. I'm going to go a little bit deeper for people and really talk about why that is a reductionist approach to health and well-being, why we need to take a holistic approach, and that goes beyond antibodies. Okay, thank you, everyone. That's it, John. Thank you. Be well. Someone said, hold on. Someone's saying, stop wearing the mask. Control. Someone said, do not stop talking about the election fraud. Okay, good. I won't. Okay, be well, everyone. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.